Malaysia will resume the search for missing flight MH370 more than 10 years after the passenger jet vanished in the Indian Ocean. Exploration firm Ocean Infinity is seeking $70 million if the wreckage is found. It is the world's greatest aviation mystery. What happened to flight MH370? With Malaysia's cabinet agreeing to a proposal to launch a new search for the plane, here is what we know so far about its disappearance 10 years ago. Now, the Boeing 777 departed Kuala Lumpur for its final destination, Beijing, on the 8th of March 2014. But air traffic control lost contact with the plane just 40 minutes after takeoff as it entered Vietnamese airspace over the South China Sea. The last known contact with the aircraft was when Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah signed off, "Good night, Malaysian 370. Shortly after this, the transponder was turned off, meaning it could not be tracked easily. According to military radar, the plane diverted from its planned route, instead flying back towards northern Malaysia and Penang, and then out into the Andaman Sea near Indonesia. And data then shows the plane turning south before tracking stopped entirely. Malaysia, Australia and China launched an underwater search in an area in the southern Indian Ocean off the coast of Western Australia. Now, this was based on data of automatic connections between an Inmarsat satellite and the plane. But two major searches and roughly $143 million later, there have been no significant findings of the aircraft's whereabouts. A report into MH370's disappearance published in July 2018 found that the plane's controls were likely manipulated, which deliberately took it off course. Investigators, however, could not confirm who was responsible or provide a firm conclusion about what exactly happened to the aircraft. Now, for more on this, we're joined by Richard Godfrey. He is a former aerospace engineer and founder of the Search for MH370, a website which covers the latest analysis on the search for the missing flight. Mr. Godfrey, thank you so much for joining us. Now, the last search for this plane ended in 2018 without any results. What could have sparked this latest attempt to resume the search, and why now?
Well, the reason for renewing the search is we have new technology. Ocean Infinity have moved forward in the last 6 years with their technology. We have new research into MH370 by various analysts. And we have, out of that research, new flight paths. And from the flight paths, we have new search areas. So there's a lot of ground for what is called credible new evidence, and Malaysia has insisted that credible evidence is provided, and the search will resume based on this new expertise.
So, speaking of research and credible evidence, you have published close to 70 papers and presentations on MH370. What's new information or analysis that has come to light that could perhaps provide more clues to explain the disappearance of MH370 since the last search attempt in 2018?
Well, many scientists have worked on various clues. There are clues from oceanography, clues from marine biology. There have been hydroacoustic clues from sounds picked up underwater in the Indian Ocean. And finally, we've been working on a form of passive radar using radio amateur radio signals as a radar system to track MH370. So all of these various avenues and clues come to the same search location. It's a little bit further from previous search locations, and it's a little bit further away from the Inmarsat satellite data defined so-called seventh arc. And we are very hopeful that this search will be successful.
And this reminds me of what you said in an interview at the start of the year, that you're convinced it would only take one more search in the right location to find this missing plane. How are you so sure when years of official searches have turned up nothing?
Well, there have been two major assumptions which we managed to break through. One assumption was that the plane just flew in a straight line for several hours into the Indian Ocean. The plane made several turns, including the diversion and further turns after their diversion. So it is a big assumption that no further turns were made, and we've now shown that there were indeed further turns. So the other assumption is that we've gone until fuel exhaustion, and that the plane ended soon after fuel exhaustion. Well, Boeing has shown that a Boeing 777 can glide for up to 110 nautical miles after fuel exhaustion. So this search is going to look further out and further afield than previous searches.
And this new search will take place over a new area within a 15,000 square kilometre area off the coast of Western Australia. What is at stake here for a massive operation like this? What's going to be different this time around compared to previous searches?
Well, the Indian Ocean, and I've sailed through it myself, is a very inhospitable place. So it's difficult weather and difficult seafaring. But the underwater search is even more difficult because the rugged terrain in 3,000 to 4,000 meters of depth, there are canyons, there are underwater cliffs, underwater volcanoes. It is a very challenging environment for Ocean Infinity to search, but they have improved their technology, and I'm very hopeful that this time they will be successful. And breaking through these wrong assumptions and searching wider is a very good move.
All right, Mr. Godfrey, appreciate your insights. Thank you so much. That was Richard Godfrey, a former aerospace engineer and founder of the search for MH370, joining us from Frankfurt.